Hello guys, how are you today? So today I'll be explaining the Math Algebra Periodic Quiz for section 2.2. Also, I'm sorry in advance if my voice is not clear. I'm a little sick, so I really apologize if there's anything unclear. If there is, please let me know, okay? So first, we have what's the lowest possible value of the function f given above. In the AMS, I believe last week, I explained this, okay? And it was a really long way. But now I found another way that you can use it very simply. And you will get the answer, and from it we will derive our rule. So they told us what is the lowest possible value. We have a function, we have a parabolic function. Whenever we have this, let us write the basic function. The basic function of a parabolic function is y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Looking at it, it may seem that it's not in the basic function, but if you use a little bit of math, you're gonna get it in another form. That's like fx is equal to 1 over 810 times x minus 20 squared. So basically, just move the 810 and then it becomes 1 over 810 and then times x minus 20 squared, then plus 32. Now looking at it, we have everything. We have fx, we have a, we have x, we have h, and we have k. Now they're asking us for what? They're asking us for the lowest possible value. Looking at it, our a is a positive number. Since it's a positive number, it will be opening upwards. Since it's opening upwards, then the lowest point on this graph is the vertex. So if we find the vertex, then we will be able to find the lowest possible value. Very simply, we know the vertex is x, y, or it is the opposite of h and k. Here our h is negative 20, so we are gonna take our h as what? As 20, and our y as 32, because 32 is our k. So what happens now is you can either do it two ways. Either you take the y directly as your answer, or you substitute them. If you substitute them, you're gonna get 32 is equal to 1 over 810 times 20 minus 20 squared plus 32. Then 20 minus 20 is 0, and then anything times 0 is 0, so now you get 32 is equal to 0 plus 32. So then we get that 32 is our lowest possible value. So the rule we can derive from this is that always our k is the lowest value if our parabola is facing upwards, and the highest value if our parabola is facing downwards. So here our answer is 32. Now we proceed to question number 2. Here again we have a quadratic function or a parabolic function. What is the basic rule for the parabolic function? It is y is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. They told us that we have these x-intercepts, so we can call them 2 points on the line, and we have a vertex. So first thing, we have our vertex. We know our vertex is the opposite of h and k. So if it is 1, so we're gonna put it in here as minus 1. So now it becomes y is equal to a x. Since it is 1 here, it becomes minus 1 over here. So minus 1 squared. And then the k or the y stays exactly as it is, plus 9. So this is the beginning of finding what our function is. Next step we can do is we choose any point and we substitute it. Let's say we choose minus 2, 0. So it's gonna be 0 is equal to a times minus 2 minus 1 squared plus 9. So 0 is equal to a times minus 3 squared, which is 9, plus 9. Move 9 to the other side, you get minus 9. Minus 9 is equal to 9a, so then a is equal to minus 1. So now we have the value of a. So we continue our function. So now y is equal to minus 1, x minus 1 squared plus 9. Now, very simply, they want us to find the value of the absolute value of b. So our graph, they told us the y-intercept is 0, b. So we need to substitute it to find the value of b. Substituting it, we get b, which is y, is equal to minus 1, okay, times 0 minus 1 squared plus 9. Solving it, you're going to get b is equal to minus 1 times 1 is minus 1 plus 9, so it is equal to 8. But here, pay attention. I remember one time in the exam, there was an answer of negative 5. You had to put it in the absolute value. If you don't put it in the absolute value, it is wrong. So what's the absolute value of 8? It is 8. In the exam, the absolute value of negative 5, it is 5. So you don't put negative 5, you put 5. Here again, we come across with this rule where you have to take the basic function, which is y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Now you take the vertex point over here. Our vertex point is now 2 minus 2 minus 2. And very simply, you substitute it. So y is equal to a x minus 2 squared, okay, minus 2. Now we need to what? We need to find a. Very simply, to find a, we're gonna take any random point. For example, this point over here, which is 1, 0. We substitute it in the equation to get 0 is equal to a times 1 minus 2 squared minus 2. So 0 is equal to a times 1 minus 2 is minus 1 minus 1 squared is 1. So a times 1 minus 2, bring minus 2 to the other side, you get 2. So now 2 is equal to 1a, so 2 is a. So very simply, our function becomes y is equal to 2, x minus 2 squared plus, minus 2. So our answer here is 2, 2, and 2. We proceed to question number 4. This is very, very important. We're going to take the basic function y equals a x minus h squared plus k. Okay? The y is the same as fx. A. Now, if a is positive, it will be pointing upwards. However, if a is negative, it will be pointing downwards. Also, if a is a number greater than 1, then it stretches. If a is a number between 0 and 1, then it shrinks. Okay? The opposite of h and k as it is make our vertex. So vertex is equal to h, the opposite of h, and the vertex k as it is. Also, our domain is always all real numbers as long as there are no radicals, no fractions. Okay, so if it's in this form, then the domain is all real numbers. The point of symmetry is that x is equal to the opposite of h. So here, if h was minus 1, then the point of symmetry is x is equal to the opposite of h, which is 1. And finally, our range is what? Our range is y, okay? It depends on a, okay? If a is positive, then the range is y is greater than or equal to k. However, if the range, if a is negative, is y is less than or equal to k. So now we have the rules. of the basic function of the parabolic function. So they want us to find 3 correct options. First thing we notice by looking at it is that A is negative, so it opens downwards. If it opens downwards, also I forgot to mention, then the vertex is the highest point. If it opens upwards like this, then the vertex is the lowest point. But here we have it open downwards since it is negative, so we're gonna take this. The vertex is at the highest point. Next thing we can find is the vertex. Okay, our vertex is the opposite of h, so it's gonna be 1, and k exactly as it is, -9. And the axis of symmetry, or the point of symmetry, is x is equal to the opposite of h, so x is equal to 1. And our domain is all real numbers, and our range, since it's opening downwards, is that y is less than or equal to -9. Now that we have all our points, let's choose them. We have x equals 1 is the axis of symmetry. It opens downwards, and since it opens downwards, the vertex is the highest point on the graph. We proceed to question number 5. They didn't ask us anything, but looking at it, you'll notice something familiar. What they want us to do here is canonical form. Very simply, to find the canonical form, let's do it step by step. First thing, we have this quadratic formula, which is 5x squared minus 40x minus 28. Now you can do it in 2 ways. One, using the equation, which personally I don't memorize the equation because I find it difficult to memorize. So instead I go through through a bunch of steps that gives us the same equation as the formula. So you can use the formula, it's not wrong to use the formula, but me personally, I prefer using the this way, okay? First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put a bracket around everything that contains x. Now you're gonna factor everything that contains x. Here, you're gonna factor it, you're gonna take out 5. Now x squared minus 8x minus 28. Now, pay attention here. The next step we're going to do is very important. You take this number over here and you divide it by 2. You're going to get -4. What do you do with this number? You're going to square this number. -4 squared is 16. Now, what happens is that inside of the brackets, we are going to do plus the square, so plus 16. But pay attention, outside of the bracket, we are gonna do minus the square, so 16 times this digit over here, which is 5. So again, I will repeat. First thing, you put brackets around the things that have x, then you factor it. After that, you divide this number by 2. You're gonna get a number, you square this number, and now what do you do with the square? With the square, inside of the bracket, you are gonna add it, and outside of the bracket, you're gonna subtract it, but you have to multiply it by this number that you factored. So now, if we're gonna solve it, okay, first it's gonna stay 5. This is a perfect square. You should know the perfect square rule, and you're gonna get x minus 4 squared. Then you're gonna have minus 28 minus 16 times 5 is 80. So then again, it's going to be 5x minus 4 squared minus 108. So they gave us what already? They gave us 5x minus 4 squared, and they're waiting for us to put a value over here. Pay attention, they put for us minus, so we're not going to put minus 108. We're only going to put 108 since the minus is already put. So that is for question number 5. Now, question number 6 is a very, very nice question, so please pay attention to it. An object is thrown vertically upwards. The equation of the motion of this object is given by height, time, is equal to minus 40 plus 96t minus 16t squared, where h is the height in feet of the object and t is the time in seconds. The object has been in motion. So what we have given to us is a function in a quadratic form. So it's a quadratic function. What we need to do, so what we are gonna do with this quadratic or parabolic function is the first step, we're gonna put it in the proper order. So the proper order, we start with the t squared, then the t, then the 4t. So it's gonna be minus 16 t squared plus 96t minus 40. Now what we're gonna do is that anytime we see a quadratic or a parabolic function, we're gonna do the canonical form. Canonical form means you take the ones that have the variable in them, and then you factor it. So it's gonna be minus 16, okay? Then t squared. Then we're gonna do 96 divided by 16. I think it's 6. Let's try 6 times 16. So yes, it is 6. So then here it becomes minus 6. Why minus 6? Because we factored out the minus 16. Remember, you have to pay attention to your factoring. So since you factored out minus 16, it becomes t squared minus 6, and then outside you have minus 40. The next step is we're going to divide this. Oh, also I forgot the t over here. Next step is we're going to divide this by 2. We're going to get minus 3. Then minus 3, square it, you are going to get 9. So now your function looks something like this. Y is equal to minus 16 times t squared minus 60 plus 9. Remember, we add the square inside of the bracket, but outside of the bracket, okay, we subtract it, okay, but we have to multiply it by the coefficient over here. So to solve it even more, you're gonna get minus 16. Factor this, it's a perfect square. You're gonna get t minus 3 squared. Okay, then we have outside minus 40 minus 9 times minus 16 is minus 144. So then this altogether becomes minus 40 plus 144. So then it becomes plus 104. So now our function looks like this. Minus 16 t minus 3 squared, okay, plus 104. Now they need what? They need the maximum height of the object to reach. The exact same thing as in question number 1. So very simply, take the k. The k as it is the maximum height that the object reached. So 104 feet. Now the time in seconds that it took the object to reach the maximum height is very, very simple. So you're gonna take this, okay, you're gonna take the inside, t minus 3, and you're gonna make it equal to 0. So then t will be equal to 3. So it took 3 seconds, okay, for the object to reach the maximum height. So 104 feet, okay, in 3 seconds. We proceed to question number 7. They need it in canonical form. In canonical form, we're gonna factor these. Okay, we're gonna take minus 5 outside, so we get minus 5 x squared, okay, plus 12x, okay, minus 163. Then over here, you're gonna divide it by 2. You're gonna get 6. 6 squared is then 36. So we said we're gonna take minus 5, then inside of the bracket we are gonna add the square, so plus 36. Then outside of the bracket we are gonna subtract the square, so 36, but we have to multiply it by minus 5. Okay, so solving it even further, you're gonna have minus 5. Then this is a perfect square, which is x plus 6 squared, then minus 163 minus 180. So that is minus 163 plus 180. 180 minus 163 is, I believe, 17. So now the function looks like this. Y is equal to minus 5x plus 6 squared plus 17. So filling in the blanks, we're going to have 6 here and 17 over here. So 6 and 17. Now we proceed to question number 8. They need us to find the vertex. Very simply, to find the vertex, you're going to take the opposite of h. So here it's plus 7. It's going to be minus 7. And k exactly as it is. So minus 2. So here the answer is minus 7 minus 2. Now the axis of symmetry, we said it is x is equal to the opposite of h. So if h is 7, then the opposite of h is going to be minus 7. So the axis of symmetry is minus 7. Now we move down. Okay, let's go back and oh my goodness, and discuss this function. We have that it is negative, so it's definitely open downwards, and the vertex is the highest point. We found the vertex, which is minus 7 minus 2. Now the domain is all real numbers, and the range, however, since it is negative, the range is that y is less than or equal to k, which is minus 2. So we discussed it. Let's go down and see the options. They told us the domain is the set of all real numbers. No. The vertex is the lowest point. No. The range is not the set of all real numbers. No. The domain is the set of all real numbers. Correct. The vertex is the highest point on the graph. Correct. And the range is the set of all real numbers less than or equal to negative 2. This is also correct. Please pay attention. They're telling us in this question what? That our original graph, which is the dotted line graph, okay, it is what? 4x minus 2 squared minus 3. Then we have another graph that there happened a transformation to it, okay, and we need to find it. We're gonna write now the basic function of the absolute, not the absolute, sorry, the parabolic function. It is y is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. Then for the g, it is y is equal to 4 times x minus 2 squared minus 3. Now let's check for any changes. So looking at it, we don't have a shift left or right, so no shift left or right. But there is a shift upwards, okay? There is no stretching, no shrinking, no stretch or shrink, okay? But we have a reflection horizontally, meaning about the x-axis. So let's apply all of these changes. First thing, since there's no shift left or right, that means we're gonna keep h in this case, which is 2, the same. But there is a shift upwards. Let's see by how much the shift is. This is our original graph, and this is our final graph. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units upward. That means very simply to our k, we're going to add 6 and we get our new k, which is 3. Since there is no stretch or shrink, this number, remember, number remains constant. Now we have a reflection horizontally about the x-axis. That means we are going to put a minus over here. So our new graph becomes y equals f. X equals, we said, minus 4 times x minus 2 squared, then plus 3. So our answer here is minus 4, here x minus 2 and x plus 3. Now we move on to question number 10. They told us consider the function y equals x squared. This is the basic parabolic function, okay? They told us the graph of y equals x plus 2 squared. What's happening here? They're adding a number inside of the brackets. If you're adding a number inside of the brackets, then it's gonna be either a shift left or right. If it is positive, it is a shift to the left. If it is negative, it is a shift to the right. Here it is positive. So this graph is obtained by shifting, okay, the graph of y(x squared) 2 units to the left, okay? Now they told us we need to plot 3 points belonging to the graph of this function. Very simply, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take these points O, B, and A, okay? And you're gonna shift them 2 units to the left. So O was 0, it becomes 1, 2. Over here, this is the new O. B was on negative 2, so you're gonna shift it 2 units to the left, 1, 2, it becomes negative 4. And A was on an x of 2, so you move it, you shift it 2 units to the left, and it becomes then on x is 0. So this is what our new graph looks like. Now we proceed to question number 11. It's a similar concept, okay? Here they told us what? They told us the function y equals x squared, which is the basic parabolic function. They did a change to it, but the change is that they subtracted 5, or they added or subtracted a number outside of the parentheses. Outside of the parentheses is a shift up or down, depending on the sign. If it is positive, it will be shifted upwards. If it's negative, it will be shifted downwards. So this graph is obtained by shifting this 5 units downwards, since it was a negative number. So we proceed down, okay? And we need to change these 3 points based on the change we made. So if it was 0 and we're going 5 units downwards, then it will become negative 5. Here, if it was negative 2, actually no, it stays negative 2. If it was 4 and we are going 5 units downwards, then it becomes negative 1. Here also, if it was 4 and we're going 5 units downwards, so then it becomes negative 1. So our graph looks something like this. Now we proceed to question number 12, which is the final question, a very important question. They told us we have 2 parabolas. We have the dotted, we have the dotted one is the graph of y is equal to x squared. So this is the basic parabolic function, okay? Not the basic, this is the parabolic function, the most simplest one. Not the basic one, the most simplest one, okay? So then we go down. They told us to fill in the blanks. Let us go up again. If you noticed, there is a change, okay? This change in the second graph that's not dotted, we need to figure it out. First of all, looking at it, it did not change left or right. It did not shift left or right. It did not shift up or down. It did not have a horizontal or vertical reflection. So what we can say is that there was definitely a shrinking or stretching. Now, by looking at it, it's definitely a shrinking, okay? So we're gonna ignore the stretching for now, and we're gonna find out by how much did it shrink. So very simply, you can take 1 point, for example, with an x of 2, okay? So we know y is equal to x squared. So with an x of 2, our y would be equal to x squared, so 2 squared, which is 4. So this is where the first graph is. Now let's see what happens in the second graph. In the second graph, y is equal to something times x squared. So we're gonna go to an x of 2. Go up in the second graph and we get 2. So 2 is equal to something times an x of 2 squared. So 2 is equal to something times 4. this something is 1 over 2, or in decimal form 0.5. Okay? So now we obtain that there is a shift, a shrinkage of 0.5. Okay? Now they told us if we had an x of 10, what would be our y? Very simply, this is our equation, y equals 0.5 times x squared. If we had an x of 10, our y would be y is equal to 0.5 times 10 squared. Y is equal to 0.5 times 100. So then y is equal to 50. So very simply, our point B, our y, okay, for point B is gonna be, I put 20, I meant to put 50, okay? So now we're gonna submit. Inshallah, we don't have any mistakes. Alhamdulillah, we don't have any mistakes. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.